The 2025 NFL Draft could be considered a turning point for the San Francisco 49ers, not just a change in talent, but a statement of identity, resilience, and vision. Coming off a painful 6-11 season, the Niners had a clear plan: get younger, stronger, more athletic, and return to their defensive roots. But what happened behind the scenes during this dramatic rebuild? And what does it say about the Niners' future? Let's take a look. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay informed. Let's go! Right off the bat, there was a buzz. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler offered some key insights into the Niners' approach this year. With Robert Saleh back as defensive coordinator and Chris Kukurek continuing to guide the defensive line, the influence of fit and player personality came to the forefront. The goal wasn't just to recruit talent, it was to recruit players who set the tone. Those who would anchor a new identity on defense. Let's not forget that ever since D'Amico Ryans left for Houston, that punishing, physical energy has been slowly seeping out of the locker room. It all started with a big decision: stand firm at pick 11. Sure, there were murmurs about trading up, maybe for Ted McMillan, the dynamic wideout from Arizona, or even Colston Loveland, a tight end with serious upside from Michigan. But John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan believed their guy might actually fall to them, and he did. Mykel Williams, the raw, freakishly athletic edge rusher out of Georgia, became the new face of their first-round investment. Now, let's make one thing clear: Williams is a boom-or-bust prospect. His college numbers? Solid but not eye-popping: 14 sacks over 40 games and a 4.76 40-yard dash. But here's the catch: context matters. He was hurt for much of last year, dealing with an ankle injury since week 1. And Georgia didn't exactly overload him with snaps. He averaged just 33.5 snaps per game in his final season. Still, when you watch the tape, you see why he was hyped as a potential number 1 pick early in his college career. He's explosive, powerful, and owns a ridiculous 83-inch wingspan. He's built like an NFL veteran and just 20 years old. Even more revealing? Chris Kukurek reportedly said during draft meetings, "I think Mykel Williams is the best edge setter in college football." That's not a throwaway line. It's a glimpse into what the 49ers value at the position: players who control the edge, dominate against the run, and don't just rush the passer. In this system, setting the edge is king. With Nick Bosa on the other side, Williams could develop into a nightmare for opposing offenses. But this wasn't a one-man draft. The Niners went all in on their defensive front, selecting 3 defensive linemen with their first 5 picks. C.J. West and Alfred Collins round out the trio, and both are already generating buzz. West is the spark, quicker and twitchier than you'd expect for someone over 300 pounds. Collins is the anchor, 6 feet 5 inches, 330 pounds, long wingspan, and a wall against the run. These two complement each other brilliantly. Think of West as the disruptor and Collins as the stabilizer. Together, they're going to eat double teams and collapse pockets. Let's not forget the names the 49ers had to replace. Javon Hargrave? Gone. Leonard Floyd? Gone. Malik Collins? Out. It was a full-scale overhaul. The depth was shaky before the draft. Now, with the likes of Jordan Elliott, Evan Anderson, Kevin Givens, and Kalia Davis slotted as rotational pieces, this defensive line suddenly feels deep, aggressive, and, most importantly, young. And this youth movement was no accident. The front office understood that if you want sustained success in the NFL, you need cost-controlled contributors who can play early. That's exactly what they believe they have in Williams, West, and Collins. Each of them is expected to start week 1. Not develop. Not sit behind veterans. Start. Still, not everyone in the Niner faithful was sold on Williams. There was some concern about the production, about the pass rush polish. But here's the deal: John Lynch and the staff see what he can become, not just what he is. He's a long-term bet, and those who've seen his film know the upside is real. As Fowler put it, Williams had top 10 buzz early in the draft process. Then came the nitpicking. But eventually, traits and tape went out. And now, the 49ers are betting that this physical transformation up front will be the catalyst for a defensive renaissance under Robert Saleh. If you remember those gritty, violent, fly-to-the-ball defenses from his previous tenure, you'll recognize the vision. And if you've missed that brand of football in recent years, you're not alone. But what do you think, faithful? Was the pick of Mykel Williams the right one? Do you believe this defensive line can bring the 49ers back to dominance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's talk about how all of this connects. Because Mykel Williams was the most talked about name in the draft, what the 49ers did goes far beyond a single pick. It was a complete, well-executed plan that points directly to the rescue of a lost identity. The mission was clear: rebuild the defensive trench, strengthen the rotation, and seek immediate impact with players who struggle with the culture of time, physical, intense, and dominant. Alfred Collins is an essential part of that. More than just a big body, he's a game breaker. Internally, there were people in the Texas program who said Collins was more talented than other defensive players from the school who went higher in previous drafts. Chris Kukurek saw that up close. And here's the thing, Collins grew up in Bastrop, Texas, not far from Rockdale, Kukurek's hometown. That kind of connection helps with development and trust between coach and player. C.J. West also deserves attention. He may not look like the classic prototype nose tackle at first glance, but he moves like few others. He is fast, agile, and makes an immediate impact on the inside of the line. He is the wild card of this group, the one that can surprise even more with his explosiveness and characteristics. Now imagine, starting defensive line in Week 1 with Nick Bosa, Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, and C.J. West. Behind them, a rotation much more stable than last year. What was previously seen as a weakness can now become the strength of the team. This update is not limited to the line. A more aggressive front seven helps the entire defense. Less time for the opposing QB means less pressure on the coverage group. And that is exactly how Robert Saleh has built dominant defenses in the past, starting with the line. Of course, there's always the what if. What if the 49ers needed subsidy to get Tetairoa McMillan or Colston Loveland? They thought about it. But they stuck with the original plan. And by all indications, it was the right choice. The priority was clear: dominate physically. Are you confident that this new trio can change the course of the defense? Do you think the 49ers made the right choices? Comment below. I want to know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Go Niners!